let's talk a little bit about Kim Scott. She was an executive at Apple. And in one instance, she had an employee, let's call him Jake, where Jake was not living up to her performance expectations. And, it's often difficult. It's easy sometimes to just ignore Jake and look at the other three performers and just hope it'll all get done without having to go through the emotional tension of telling someone, hey, you're not meeting my expectations. You're not meeting the expectations of the team. In fact, there are others that are looking around going, hey, how come you're not performing up here, Jake, when everyone else is performing up here? So she took the courage, the vulnerability of maybe Jake would have a negative response. And she had that conversation with Jake, the hard one. And Jake actually appreciated it. He could tell that she actually cared. She wasn't just out to hurt him or to take him down a notch. She actually cared. So she reached out to him. They had a great conversation. And the result was that Jake's behavior changed. And when that authenticity took place and she was clear with what she wanted and what the team needed, Jake was able to go on and deliver better things for the team. The team appreciated it. It increased authenticity and candor within that team. And then that team saw that that was a valuable thing that actually increased trust. So Kim embodied what she called radical candor, which is two things: the courage to say what needs to be said, but saying it in a compassionate way, not neglecting the emotional reality and impact that those conversations are going to have on people. And she acted consistently. She never acted in a way that, maybe Kim's hiding something for 6 months and brings it out on a performance review 6 months later. Remember that thing you did 6 months ago? No. Kim was consistently, and she brought things out in short order when it needed to be said. And she always did it in a way that built the other person up and took care of the needs of the team as well. So Kim was very consistent in that, and she created trust with the way she handled that. And she went on to write a book called Radical Candor, which is well-liked and is very informative about how to create this kind of authenticity and trust within the corporate organizational setting. All right, let's talk a little bit about Bob Pierce. Now, he was the founder of Samaritan's Purse and World Vision, two of the largest philanthropic organizations from faith-based Christian organizations that fed the poor around the world. Now, they did great work. They did great creational work. They made a difference in Korea, Vietnam, and countless other countries around the world. However, Bob himself, the founder, who was very charismatic, had great skills in moving people and getting people to donate, and he created films and all sorts. He was a great speaker. He had all of these creational, functional things that he could do really, really well. But he didn't always keep his promises to those closest to him. Those who worked with him closely eventually ended up pushing him out of the organization that he created, World Vision, because he wouldn't cooperate with others. He didn't create trust. He said that he would deliver certain things, and then he wouldn't. He got mad and he yelled, and he didn't create an atmosphere where he was being candid. He would just blow up. He would make people guess as what he was doing. His own family was left alone and disavowed. He didn't keep his promises to his family. Tragically, one day, one of his daughters called him up and said, "Daddy, I really need you. You need to come back." And he said, "No, I have commitments out here. I won't come home." And tragically, she took her own life, partly because of the disorder in his family and his inability to come home and his inability to keep promises to even his own family. So he was oftentimes false emotionally, and people didn't really know what he was thinking, because he would proceed with a smile, but then he could blow up in an instant. So you never knew what you were going to get with Bob. And he made people guess as to what he really wanted and what he was really thinking. Always trying to put the bright face on things, but couldn't hold it back sometimes and would push people around with anger and bravado. So while he was able to create great things, the experiences that he created among his staff, his family, and the people closest to him, particularly who knew him, who interacted with him personally, they didn't receive the same kind of care and things that he was giving to strangers around the world. So it's very important that we be consistent with all the people, not just the people we serve, but the people that we serve with. as well, and the people closest to us, to create that level of experience that is going to elevate the cultures that we create, the leadership that we deliver around the world, that we create that culture and that experience of trust with those that are around us.